If you took the time to really sit down and take inventory of your life, I guarantee that you will find more stress than you ever thought existed. Fact is we experience so much stress in our day-to-day lives that we have somehow convinced ourselves that being stressed out and out of whack is normal or natural. People under the belief that being stressed is caused by outside forces that are simply out of their control, and there's very little, if anything, you can do to avoid it. If work becomes challenging, we get stressed. Then the people in our lives are not acting in the manner that we deem that they should, we get stressed. When we're in need of a vacation or just some time away to rest, we get stressed. Deaths, marriages, significant purchases, a whole litany of other situations we've encountered. We speak about the stress that occurs from these situations as if they were a condition of physical objects surrounding us in our environments, something that's completely external to our being. But in actuality, it's not. Think about how many times you've spoken with your primary care physician about a physical ailment that you were having, and they informed you that it could be caused by stress. Stress plays a great role in a variety of health concerns like heart attacks and asthma, high blood pressure, stroke, and a bunch of other things. There have been days when I actually broke out in hives because of the amount of stress I was enduring. Now, after taking inventory of yourself and finding your stress and stressors, you can't help but notice how some people who are essentially having the same issues as you, they always seem carefree. So, how in the world are you so calm about this while I'm about to cry every ounce of fluid out of my body? One person can be going through all of the negative conditions life could throw at them to cause tremendous amounts of stress, but they still appear to be business as usual. Meanwhile, somebody else could get a flat tire on their way to work and have an epic meltdown. Why is this? How does one explain this? Decision theory tells us that every action comes with a set of reasons. This means that everything we choose to do or not do is a deliberate effort to achieve some sort of goal. We are never just simply reacting to external stimuli, be the reaction conscious or unconscious. For example, what happens if I flinch after hearing a loud noise? The flinching is actually an unconscious, protective, proactive strategy of the body to keep you safe. It's not a mere reaction to just the noise. If that were the case, anytime we ever heard anything, we'd be ducking and dodging. I'll give you another example. You think you're angry with your child for not cleaning their room, despite the fact that you've been hounding them about cleaning it for the last 2 days. So you go all the way off on them. A, a tantrum fit for a toddler. It certainly seems as if the anger is directed towards your child's actions, or in this case, their inactions. Your best efforts to positively influence the child. You're asking nicely, explaining to them why it's important to keep their room clean. You've even tried to bribe them, and anything else that you've done before that was quiet and peaceful to get them to clean up this room, and it didn't work. This is why you're stressed and angry, because your initial attempts and acting rationally, those attempts have failed. Now you've reached a point where you believe that if your child sees you acting a fool, they'll get in gear and go do what you've been telling them to do for the last 2 days. Any action that we perform, be it through behavior or emotion, is it's a proactive attempt to achieve a goal, not a mere reaction to any outside forces. The same is true for stress. We're choosing stress as a proactive attempt to get something that we want. This choice is almost never conscious, but I want it to become conscious for you. Once it is, then you have the power to choose to do it differently if you desire. Since all behavior is purposeful, it helps to understand what possible benefits or purposes one could achieve when they're stressing. Ask yourself this: who in their right mind would ever choose to be completely stressed out? Where is the benefit of any of that behavior? Stress can be motivating, and many of us perform at our peak levels when we have that adrenaline rush moving throughout our bodies. Anyone who's ever waited to finish a paper at the last minute or study for an exam knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. Stressing can also be a way of telling others that they need to back off. Um, I remember one of my deployments, it was pretty high stress time. And whenever I was feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, it was my unconscious goal to let my NCO know that don't ask me for one more thing or I'm going to lose my mind. And I would send out the signals of being overwhelmed, lots of sighing, threatening looks, irritability, loss of humor. I have to admit that since I didn't do this all the time, it was very effective whenever I did. So whenever I was stressed, my NCO would just generally leave me alone so that I could finish my work. Stressing can also get us the help that we need. When the message is out there, others may rally around to support you. People may actually offer to help do some of the things so that it can reduce some of your feelings of stress and overwhelm. When we stress long enough, we may begin to develop some physical symptoms from it. Our behavior is compromised of four inseparable components: there's the action, the thoughts, the feelings, and our physiology of our bodies or whatever the body's doing in that moment. When we don't take care of managing our stress levels, our physiology takes over and creates physical symptoms for us. Now, remember, I said all behavior is purposeful, and physiology is a part of the total behavior. You have to understand that the purpose of the physical symptoms that are accompanied with prolonged stress is our body's way of telling us we have to stop or slow down. It produces the physical symptoms that are hard to ignore. When we attend to them and or get the rest that we need, we then reduce the stress levels. So you can see how all behavior is purposeful. If you're experiencing the effects of stress in your life, I'm not suggesting that you are the one to blame. What I am saying is that up until this point, you've just been doing your absolute best with the knowledge that you had, consciously or unconsciously, to get something you want by utilizing this stress. If you can pinpoint what the benefits of the stress is, then you can look at ways to get what you need without actually having to stress yourself out about it.